Hi, everybody. Oh, look, it's the long version. Finally. Figures. It never goes long version when I want it to. And then on the day that I don't need it to and I just hit a live broadcast, it goes in the long version. And if it goes too long, Facebook will lock you out. Lovely. And if y'all are talking, I can't hear you. Hello, everybody. We're just waiting for my long song to end now. Hi, Ashley. Girl, you better come over to my house soon. I got stuff for you sitting. That is a long intro. Hi, John. How are you? Figures. John Savage. Poor thing. I feel for you. All right. I want to welcome everybody to Vibe Time with Geri. I've got myself and my co host, David Flowers, on. And let me turn it up. We got a few things to talk about. I think I cut the volume down. Hold on. All right. We got a few things to talk about tonight. We have Dennis Estlock. Also, he's our very special guest. So I don't exactly know. Hi, Ronnie. How are you doing? Exactly know what we're going to talk about, but I'm going to take everybody off of mute. We got Paul Shields coming on next week, y'all. All right, hold on just a second. All right, can everybody hear me okay?
I can hear you.
Dennis?
Yeah.
Okay. Just want to make sure. Yes, schedule an appointment for Reiki if you need it. Plus, I got your bag over here. All right, so we got a couple things to cover first before we start Paranormal Roundtable. David, do you want to talk about your raffle? Because you've put this raffle together.
Yeah, I'm doing a raffle. I'm raffling off a basic ghost hunter kit. We have a Panasonic voice recorder, a K2 meter, a laser grid with a tripod, and a SB7T ghost box, all in a case. It's over a $200 value. Tickets are $5 a piece or 3 for $10, and the proceeds are going to Wounded Warriors and Tunnels to Towers foundations, going to the veterans and first responders. And the drawing's going to be live on this show on September 20th. I do cash, credit cards, Cash App, or PayPal. Just shoot me a message if you want any more information.
It works for me. John Savage said he might be able to come on, so I went ahead and I sent him the link.
So, a beginner's ghost hunter kit. That sounds like it's a couple of stages above where I'm at. Do you think it would overwhelm me?
Excuse me?
I said it's a beginner's ghost hunting kit. That sounds like it's a couple of stages above where I'm at. Do you think it would overwhelm me?
I think even you can handle it.
Awesome.
Hi, Lucy.
Just because of the just because of the charity that it's going to, I'd like a couple of tickets for it.
Sounds good.
Yeah.
And speaking of charities and events, September 20th at the Cabin on 360, Prop is going to host a investigation that all funds are going to the Kentucky and Western Virginia, not West Virginia, Western Virginia flood victims.
That's August 20th,
Right
Dennis?
now, I think they've got 36 dead, so they definitely need some help. So August 20th, we're going to do that at the Cabin on 360. Tickets are $30 a person. We'll investigate the cabin, the brick rancher, and the woods. Obviously, weather dependent as to how much time we're spending in the woods. But we've got locations out that direction that we're going to track down. Gene and Ryan are both tracking notable charities that we can send the funds to. But all of it will go to the flood victims.
That works.
Hey, Gene.
Hi, Gene. How are you?
Saw him like it, but I don't see him in. So, and I'm not getting notice of who's joining us.
Yeah, I'm getting some of it.
Parts of it.
Yeah. I see some of it. I can see a few people. Gene's on there. Yeah. And I don't
So,
know.
yeah, for those that
Go ahead.
now, I got an email this week. Well, not an email, but I got a Facebook Messenger this week asking me about a Paranormal 101. How do I find a class or anything like that? And that was kind of an eye opener to me that there are people that are interested in getting into this field, but they really don't know how or where to turn to or who to trust. So I think I'm going to work it out with Ryan, and we're going to figure out a couple of dates, probably weeknights, and like you guys do with the Manor House. Dave does kind of the Paranormal 101, then you get a couple of hours of investigation. I think we're going to start doing the same thing at the cabin.
Mm-hmm.
But most of her questions were, I want to know what the equipment does, what equipment is needed, what am I actually looking for just because the bells and whistles go off, what does it mean? And it took me back to filming at Old House Woods. And I remember the distinct conversation with Don Wildman after everything was done and the cameras are put away. And he says, that little round light thing that we had out there that was going off. So what the hell does that thing actually mean? Like, is that telling me that there was a spirit standing right there with us?
Mm-hmm.
And it dawned on me at that point that there's a lot of people that just do not understand. They watch the shows, they see this gear, but they don't really know what it does, what it is, and how to interact with it. Hey, Seth, Tracy Ann's in there. So I think we want to do the Paranormal 101 basically, and some brief investigations at the cabin as well. And I'm going to make sure, David, and I'm going to rely on you to make this happen. I'll come down to Williamsburg to the Manor House, but I want to get a stack of books too. Those that don't know, David, tell them about your book.
The book is Welcome to the World of Paranormal Investigations. It's a very basic book, Paranormal 101. I go over the equipment, the basic equipment that you need, all the way up to the fun stuff.
Hi, Tracy.
Yeah, here you got a copy right there.
Yep, Dennis.
And
Mm-hmm.
go over some of the techniques and different things you're looking for.
Look how cool I am.
Yep, John Stevens is holding his book up too.
That's $5. Starbucks.
Yeah. Oh, see, John Stevens is holding his book up too.
Yeah.
Thank you, and have a blast at dance class, would I? But yeah, I want to make sure that I've got your book on hand. You know, it does a good job of the introductory.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, this young lady wants to travel up from North Carolina because she knows nobody down there or where to turn to.
Mm-hmm. I think a lot of people are interested in it. I mean, we get a lot of people on the tour that are interested in it. And what's really nice, like with the Manor House, is that it's for people that want, like, I don't know how to explain it, like a safe place, if you will, because of the spirits there and some of the activity that goes on. I think it's pretty neat because you got kids too that are interested in it. And some of the kids today are a little bit more intellectual, if you will, like more, I don't know, advanced. The kid we had last night was very advanced for being a kid, extremely advanced for being a kid, almost like a little genius almost. And, you know, it's just really cool.
Yeah, they're definitely technologically advanced more so than we were at that age.
Yeah, definitely. And I mean, that little boy knew the breakdown of that equipment, like just the whole breakdown, and very, very intellectual. And like you said, very tech savvy. And I'm just like, wow, blown away. Hi, Yvonne. So
yeah, watch the 7 on 360 Facebook page. You'll see when we start putting together the Paranormal 101s. We did it a couple of years ago, pre-COVID, pre-lockdowns, whatever. And, you know, we didn't have a huge turnout, but it was still, you know, we had some pretty cool people show up. They had a blast.
yeah.
I think that's what it's about. I mean, if you want to engage John Doe into the paranormal other than, you know, watch TV, you know, you put the gear in their hands, it makes it a little more intriguing to them.
Right.
Especially when they get activity. That makes it more fun. And, you know, just like you guys, when you do the Manor House tours and whatnot, you put the gear in their hands and tell them, have at it. Maybe you'll find your own ghost.
Yeah. 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 And last night it was a lot of fun because it was more of, it makes it fun when you're in it, when you let them do their thing and you're kind of watching them, you know, to make sure that they're doing some things correctly. And the group last night was really cool because they were a very interactive group. They wasn't, you know, they were high energy and very interested in that field. So that's what makes the tours with David a lot of fun, is some of the people that come on it.
That's definitely the reason why I've been doing it as long as I have.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think it's neat. Some of the questions that they ask give us a new thought, a new line of thought as to which way to go with our questioning. So I think it's pretty damn cool.
Yeah. Yeah, I
had fun with it. I got to make fun of David and pick on him all night.
Now, last night we had a good time, and one of the things when the tour was over on the you know, we went upstairs and we did the ghost hunting and used the equipment. We was using the SB7 box, and you know, I told the little boy, he was so cute because he was talking into it like a radio, so that was really cute. But he was like, I told him, I was like, one of the things that you want to do when you're on an investigation is you do want to, or you're ghost hunting, you do want to introduce yourself, you know, because you're meeting somebody new, right? And as soon as I said this man gets on the SB7 box and says, yep. So it's on a clear cut EVP, and the little boy, he was like, oh my God, he just said yes. And I was like, that's right. You see, when you introduce yourself. So that his eyes lit up like a Christmas tree on that one. You couldn't get anything better than that. So I'm sending it. I'm letting David go ahead. I'm going to bring it to him tomorrow so he can download it and make a video out of it, because that was just a clear cut. Yep. Hi, Kimberly.
Hey, Kimmy.
So
what the hell is going on? Why would you be asking us, sweetheart? You know I have no damn clue what's going on. I never do. And the mushroom in the group. And the mushroom in the group. They keep me in the dark, feed me bullshit, and hope I grow. One day I want to be like that dude, John Stevens, man. He's got the link on everything and knows everything.
That's right.
Yeah,
John
we
Stevens.
work the rest of our life and not be good as John Stevens.
Yeah, that's right. That's true.
I'm not as young, I'm not as good looking, not as intelligent. Why in the hell am I even here?
If I remember correctly, John Stevens he did write down in here that I think he felt a day younger than you or a year younger, somewhere in here in his comments. Because y'all's birthdays are back to back.
You're a year older than Dennis.
Yeah.
Mine's 29th, his is 30th.
Yeah.
His was, I feel, a year older than Dennis. Yeah. It's time to leave. Don't you dare, John. You're the start of holding this show together.
Yeah, it's
That was fun.
old farts.
So, yeah, I mean, you guys have got some pretty laid-back spirits at the Manor House. We've got some pretty laid-back spirits in the cabin. Obviously, for a 101, I certainly wouldn't want to take them into the basement in the Brick Rancher, but it has happened.
Depends if they pick you up.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, that's true. But, I think it would be good to introduce maybe a new clientele to the paranormal.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they all, before we got into it, we had a shit ton of questions.
Yeah.
And that kind of pushed us to get into it. And there's so many people that's in the way of where we are right now, or that are in the path of where we are right now, but they have to start in that same step that we had of what goes on, what is there, what they want the questions answered. So we'll see what we get.
Yeah, I think it'll be interesting. I mean,
Great idea.
yeah.
Now, on a different note, so this weekend I get to take a road trip. I get to hit one of my bucket list locations.
Where are we going?
Ohio State Reformatory.
Nice.
Ohio State Reformatory. Now, here's the irony of this. I think it was last Saturday, Sunday. I don't know. I pull up DVR, look at saved shows and whatnot. And the GA crew they had like 4 episodes back to back or whatever. And all of a sudden it popped. Missouri State Penitentiary. And I'm headed there in September. But before that, I caught the tail end of an episode of Ohio State Reformatory, and I'm like, all right, this is way more than coincidence. There's a reason both of these episodes are coming on when I'm planning these locations. That's just bizarre shit.
That is.
So, yes.
Figures.
But, I don't know. The universe throws a bunch of shit our way, and if you ain't paying attention, man, you'll get run over in a heartbeat.
Yeah.
Yeah, I get to go check out this weekend to Ohio State Penitentiary, and then September I'm going with Haunted Nights crew and check out Missouri State Pen.
That's cool.
Yes, John, it is a great group of people. There's Twisted going Covert, Middletown, FPRI. Who else is going? I think that's it. But this will definitely be a good time. I'll keep you all posted, and at some point I'll try to go live. I don't know what my signal will be like. Or I don't know if I've heard some rumors that they don't allow you to go live without an extra charge. I don't know. I think that if that is the case, I think that's bullshit, but I'll find out.
Right.
You can always ask for forgiveness for the information.
Do what?
I always ask for
You can
forgiveness.
always ask for forgiveness.
trust me, I've done that many, many times in my life. But yeah, I definitely, I don't know if you have to. I know some places that tell you you're not allowed to go live. Like, really? It's my ass. It's my airwaves. I'll do what I want with it. And if I want to go live on Facebook, then guess what? I'm going live. And if you don't have a giant sign up and I don't sign a waiver that says I can't go live without an additional fee, then we're going live, folks.
Mm-hmm. That doesn't make sense, though.
You know, when I was in Moundsville in West Virginia, I tried going live, and being inside the prison itself is too much interference.
And I don't know, maybe that's the problem with this one, but I know I'm going into the hole, especially at Missouri State Penitentiary. The hole is supposed to be one of the most active locations. Of course, now I think any prison that you go to, and hey, Brother John Wells, by the way, y'all, that's my brother from another mother. I love that man to death. But I think, you know, everybody says, oh, the most active place in the whole place is the hole. Well, it doesn't surprise me. Typically it's a tiny place. It's underground. It's some of the most brutal activity imaginable to place in there. Well, it's going to be the most active place. So we'll find out. And I should, you know what? I think I'm going to do it right here. I want to start a poll, and let's see how many times I get either F you or call an asshole while I'm at the prison. Because we both know there's going to be many of them.
I'm going to say 30-ish, about 30-ish plus times on that.
Yeah, it's always a challenge. I don't know why. I seem to get that so often, even where I've never been.
Yeah, but I still can't figure out why. I mean, you're an asshole to an extent.
Well, John, it's not a matter of start calling me an asshole now. That's been going on for years.
Yeah.
But here's the funny one.
15, 20.
Another one, she's going with 25. But so I had friends that had, well, I can't say friends. They were followers that had gone to numerous investigations with me. Like we did Pamplin, they were there. We did Henricus, they were there. They did a few different ones at the cabin with us. And then they disappeared for a couple of months. And I asked them when they showed up at the cabin again, where y'all been, man? We've missed you. And he's like, oh, you know, we decided to, look, John Stevens, 372. You're probably closest, my friend. But we're like, oh, we did some trips and we went and checked out Eastern State Penitentiary and we went to Ohio State Penitentiary. Hey, did you know you're famous? No. I mean, I've known, but I don't know that I would say famous. And he goes, oh, no. We were at Ohio State Penitentiary and we're talking to people and we said that we had been several times, somehow or another, the cabin on 360 got mentioned. And there was an EVP that came across and said, Dennis, asshole. And I went, you got to be shit.
666.
And he's like, nope, I swear to God. And I went, well, okay. But they captured an EVP calling me an asshole from Ohio State Penitentiary, and I've never set foot on the ground.
You're famous.
So, I guess if that's what makes me famous, being called an asshole by spirit, then okay, I'm good with that.
You're famous in the astral realm as being an asshole.
And see that part, well, and that part I can understand. Because I mean, I'm the one that gets called in when people get spiritual attached. I'm the one that gets called in when they have activity in their home and I have to cleanse it and bless it. So I'm the one that has to be the asshole to spirits. So it's no shock to me that I'm, you know, famous, infamous, as Shayla says, in the spirit world. It makes sense to me. But what it does do is make me have more questions than I ever thought I would of what's the connection between spirits been to Connecticut. I've been to New York. I've been to Pennsylvania and investigated places there. West Virginia. I've never been to Ohio, but what's the connection between the spirits in Ohio and all those other states that I've been to that they, all of a sudden, in Ohio, the spirit realm thinks I'm an asshole too? So what's their communication system? Because I know it can't be Verizon because I drop signal way too fucking much.
Yeah, it can't be Verizon. I don't know. Maybe they all just communicate with each other and are like, hey, look out for this asshole Dennis Estlock. He might be coming to a location near you.
Right? Don't mess with him.
Exactly.
But I think it's interesting as hell that the spirit realm is able to communicate from halfway across the country and talk about the same individuals when they've never met them.
You know what would be something real interesting? Like, we have all these ghost teams from all over the place. I mean, all over the world. What would be really cool is if they go out there and do an investigation, that they do what I do. If I'm going to a new location, I will always ask, do you know Dennis Estlock, to get my evidence? And I wondered how that would work with all these different teams out there, because there's so many. Like I got one in Australia that I'm sure if I wrote him and I said, Mark, the next time you go on an investigation in Australia, can you please see if they know Dennis Estlock and see if you'll get something on an EVP? You know what I mean? Just to see how far that goes.
That would be funny as shit.
I'm going to reach out to him later on, and I'm just going to say, hey,
It would kind of freak me out.
I think it would be kind of cool.
Well, I mean, that goes right along with my team was investigating the Masonic Lodge here in Chaco Bottom in Richmond. And simultaneously, there was a team investigating a lodge in Fredericksburg that's over an hour away. And I tried to get spirit at the lodge we were at to give a word to lodge in Fredericksburg. And, at exactly 9 p.m., go dead silent, have recorders running. I'm going to give a word and ask them to transmit it to you guys. And at 9:05, you asked them to transmit a word to me. And I had 5 voice recorders going at 9:05, and I captured something on 3 out of 5. Well, what that told me was they were able to transmit to my recorders. I just couldn't make it out. They didn't capture anything up there, but I thought it was kind of cool that there was communication almost immediately from Fredericksburg to Richmond through voice recorders, because we were dead silent at 9:05, and they were talking in Fredericksburg, asking their spirits there to give a message to ours. So I thought it was kind of cool.
That is cool. We'll have to try that. That is cool. Shayla said ghost groupies. Lucy said they travel through portals and mirrors to talk about Dennis. And Jean, of course, maybe Dennis Estlock is on the ghost version of America's Most Wanted list in the other realm.
Spooky's Most Wanted.
Yeah, but that's
funny.
Yeah, that's cool though. I wonder if
I did a reading. I did a reading for a woman. She reached out to me and asked if I could contact a loved one for her that had passed. And immediately I started getting answers from this male. And he presented himself to me. I described him as I saw him. And it turned out that it was her dad. And she asked me, well, why does it feel like he's here sometimes and other times he's not? And I said, well, he's not always with you. Sometimes he does go to Florida and he visits your brother and his other 2 grandchildren, and then he comes back to visit you. And she just went silent for a minute or so, and I asked her if she was all right. And she goes, I don't know how you know about my brother and his children, but that makes perfect sense. He has 2 sons, and so But what it told me was Spirit's able to basically be from A to B in a blink.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's kind of cool.
Yeah. That is really cool. We linked up 4 sites in Matthews. Yeah. It kind of, like you said, you kind of wonder what their communication system is. Really.
I think it's fascinating. And
Mm-hmm.
just like we've all seen Patrick Swayze in the movie Ghost,
Mm-hmm.
I think that movie, in all honesty, was closer to reality than even the writers believed.
Yeah. I agree with you on that, because a lot of people, when people want to know about some of my experiences, that's the movie that I use as an example, because that's about as close as it gets, particularly when they talk to you all damn night and play muffled music when you're not giving your message like you're supposed to. It's literally, hey, when are you going to give the message? And you deal with that all night long. And like I said, that's about as close as you can get to what happened, what those experiences are.
And I mean, the one that I utilize the most is he's able to
Hi,
interact
Jeanette.
with Demi Moore towards the end, after it had been explained to him how to do it. Hi, Jeanette. But he couldn't do it at the very beginning. Well, just like when you and I came into this realm, we couldn't walk or talk. We could only absorb information.
Right.
They do the same on site, I think. I think there's a learning curve, so to speak, on how to transmit their thoughts or feelings or emotions or whatever from that side of the veil to our side of the veil. And like in the subway when he was trying to flick the bottle cap and he just couldn't do it. And finally the other spirit came over and told him, you have to put your energy into it. You have to focus, concentrate. And then he was able to do it. I think it's a learning curve. Once they cross from this side of the veil to that side of the veil, if they're not instructed or if they don't learn that, they can't communicate with us or they can't manipulate the environment or anything else. I think it's all a learning curve, and as they're there longer, that's why you don't hear the spirits of, I mean, don't get me wrong, sometimes you do, but if you try to communicate with somebody that passed within the past 10 years, it's very difficult and very seldom that you get a response. But if you talk to, Civil War era or pre-Civil War, then you get a lot more. And I think it's a matter of that learning curve.
Yeah, we can do that. Yeah. And then it makes you wonder, all right, how some people are in tuned with them, we're in tuned with stuff, energy and vibrations. So when we pass, is it going to be easier for us, or is it going to be a learning curve for us too, when we're on that other side of the veil?
Well, all right, so I have a couple of very dear friends that a tragic loss. He took her life and then his. About 6 weeks later, I had his family with me, and they asked if I could contact him. And Mark was on numerous TV shows, and he was quoted as being the world-renowned EVP specialist. If anybody knew how to interact through EVP, and I sat on the bluff at Henricus Park, and I had a full-out conversation with him. I still have it on recording, and it's with 3 of his family members that, immediately when I did playback and they heard his voice, they knew exactly who was talking to him. It wasn't a guess. It was all 3 jaws hit the table, and they went, "Oh my God, that's Mark." So I think us understanding how this works, I think us understanding how the technology works, I think we have a leg up over John Doe that doesn't understand any of it. As far as the vibration and the energy, we already know how to focus ours and put it to that side.
Right.
What would be how much different will it be for us to put our energy and focus from that side back to this side?
Right. I mean, it's just a thought.
I think it'd be kind of cool. But the only way we're going to find out is, dead.
Yeah.
I'm not in a rush to get there.
Yeah. I'm not either. But it was just a thought. I mean, if we can travel in other realms.
Well, I mean, you do remote views same as I do. We travel in a different realm to do that. And Kimberly is able to astral project and be in a different realm. So why couldn't we do it?
Right. Yeah. That's true.
A question for you, Dennis. Okay, I've heard here recently people talking about making spirits leave a location or make them cross over, whatever you want to call it. I've always been under the belief that God or whoever your higher power you believe in my case, God, that God gives you free will in death as he does in life. How can somebody make you leave? Because there's people that they can do this or say they can do this. I don't know. I've never witnessed it.
Well, I've got a couple of thoughts on that. There's one theory that says the living's energy trumps the dead, which means they kind of have to bend towards our rules. Whether that's true or not, I don't know. But I know I have performed crossings. I've done cleansings and blessings numerous times. And I can move spirits from a location, and I can help them. I can't cross them. I can help them cross. And what I mean by I can't do it, but I can help them, I asked, so I've been blessed in 5 different religions and 3 different beliefs. So when it comes time for me to do a crossing, perfect example. I think it's your mic that's buzzing horribly, David. But there was a young girl at a location that they knew was getting ready to be raised. And I explained to her when I was there that they're going to level this home. This home is going to be tore down. What we captured on an EVP and what I heard myself through my mediumship abilities was, where do I go? And I said, I'm going to try to help you with that. So what I did is I opened up a prayer session. I asked St. Michael and St. Christopher to stand at my back and protect me and help me with this. And then I asked them to bring forth any of her family that is in God's light and help take her home. Mm-hmm. And I explained to the little girl spirit that was there that your family is coming and it's safe to go with them and you're welcome to leave with them. But that's what you need to do. Your family is here. They've missed you all this time, and you can now go with them. But having St. Michael and St. Christopher at my back to protect me, letting her know that St. Michael and St. Christopher are there to help her, and her family is there to help her. That was what I believe helped her cross on. We were able to investigate that location 3 times later on. 4 or 5 times prior to this, we had investigated there and always captured her voice on EVP. And after I did this prayer session trying to send her home, we never got another female response when asking for this little girl. Now, does that mean she went? No. Mm-hmm. I don't know. I would like to believe. And you could definitely feel the energy in the room, but I pray that that is what happened, is that she was able to go home and her family came and took her home.
Right.
Is that a guarantee? No, nothing in this is guaranteed. can hope and pray that that's exactly what happened.
Yeah, but
See,
if she didn't want to go, you couldn't have made her go, though, right? Is that what I'm understanding?
Yeah, exactly. I can't make them go. I can push my energy at them, and I can act as a bully towards them, and I can push my energy at them. But just like a bully, they can stick their finger back up at me and go, "That's off, man. You can't push me. I can push them, but I can't force them into the light. I can call my saints forward. I can call my guides forward, and I can ask them to drag them away
to a different location.
Make that spirit leave."
Because I heard somebody say, and I can't remember where it was, it might have been on TikTok, that say that they make a spirit crossover, make them
I don't see how you.
go out of this stuff.
I don't know how. I don't know.
And I don't understand how that can happen if they have free will.
Well, look, I can tell you any damn thing I want to say.
Right.
I can tell you that I can physically take a spirit by the hand and drag their ass kicking and screaming through the light. That doesn't make it real.
Right, okay.
It just
That's
means
kind of
that's what I... Yeah, and look, here's my problem with most of the people on TikTok. If you watch them, they've got their PayPal out there, they've got their Venmo out there, they've got their pay link or whatever out there, and they're trying to convince you that I have this divine connection to the spirit world, and you need a reading, and I'm the one that can do it because I can do all of these things.
Yeah.
Send me your money, and I'll show you what I can do. Well, I remember a dude one time. What the hell was his name? Oh, yeah, David Koresh. I am the second coming. And then there was another guy. What the hell was his name? He had people drink purple Kool-Aid.
Jesus.
And then there was another one in Johannesburg. See, I can tell you any damn thing I want to tell you. Whether you believe it or not, or whether it is true or not, are worlds apart. Just because they say I can cross a spirit, I can force them over, doesn't mean they can't.
Right.
I have threatened that I will have your ass dragged into the light, which I will, but it doesn't mean I can't. I'm going to do my best to do it, though.
Okay. I'll be right back. Got it. Okay. I'll be right back.
Why? What are you doing?
I've got to stand up a second. I slipped and fell today.
Oh. Slip on the ice? Spilled out of your margarita?
She bruised her ass.
Oh. She got a no-no on her bobo. She got a boom-boom on her bum-bum.
Yeah. Yeah, but I've heard people here recently say how they can make it even. I just don't see it because I believe that God gives them free will. They can cross over and come back anytime they want.
I believe they can. However, let's see. So if I look at the viewers list right now, John Wells, Vanessa has seen me do this. Kimberly is aware of what I can do. They are enough evidence that I have ability. That does not mean that I have the ability to push a spirit to the light. I'm a firm believer, and I've said it for a decade. If you're an asshole in life, you're an asshole in death. And if a spirit is an asshole, and they're hell-bent and determined that they're staying here, I can do everything within my power. I can ask my guides to come and pull them. I can ask their family to come forward. I can even go so far as to ask God to remove them from my bubble. But that doesn't mean that spirit's going into the light, and it doesn't mean they're going to go face their final judgment, because I don't have that power. Only God can do that. When God says it's time for you to come back here, then that's when you'll go back there.
Yeah, because one night we were in the basement of the manor house, Geri and I, and we were doing an Estes. And then Geri, she went off in what I call her metaphysical la la land. And we were talking to one where I asked, why are you still here? Or I first asked, do you want to cross over? He said, no. I asked why. He said, I did that. And that right there told me that they can do what they want.
Yeah.
They can cross over if they want. They don't have to cross over if they don't want to. And you're not going to, like you just said, they're not going to make them cross over.
Yeah.
You might get the saints to pull them across, but I think they'll come back.
And I think they have that option. I've done cleansings and blessings on homes before where I had to return, and I know damn well it's the same spirit that I interacted with the previous time come right back. And I think it all boils down to, like you said, God gives us free will. If it comes time for me to die, I'm not going into the light. So there are 12 viewers right now, and I know out of that 12, probably 6 of them are going to be haunted by me just to give them a hard time.
That's the plan.
Yeah, exactly. But I know if I go into the light and I'm not able to come back and torment them, I'm not going to the light. I want to be able to go give my friends a hard time. That's what I promised them I will do. And you two are both getting haunted. Why? Just because. From time to time, you're going to go, hey, Dennis, are you with us? Can you talk to the red light? Fuck you. No, I'm there.
He's coming after us.
So, yeah, I mean, look, I haven't. Here's the thing. All right, so there's Steve Huff fires up his ghost portal box every time some celebrity dies, and he's like, "Oh, I talked to Robin Williams, or I talked to Betty White, or I talked to this guy," and everybody's like, "Oh my God, what a disrespectful piece of shit." I expect you to come look for me when I die. I want within 5 minutes of you finding out that I passed away, I want recorders in both hands going, Dennis, fuck up. And I don't think it's a sign of disrespect. I think it's a matter of I have spent at this point, right, so it was about 40 years ago that I did my first EVP session. Didn't even know what the hell it was called. But I've spent, 4 decades wondering about that side and trying to capture them on tape and trying to capture them on video and trying to capture them on audio. God, if anybody understands how to do an EVP, it's going to be me. So when I die, come talk to me. Try to see what we can do. Can we cross that veil? Can we talk to each other?
Yeah.
Because if I'm able to give you EVPs, I promise I'm giving EVPs.
I can see it now. And your service is going to be full of paranormal, both their voice recorders out, trying to get you.
And I'm perfectly good with that, but here's the bad part. There's not going to be a service. But when I die, I'm getting cremated, and my ashes will be taken back to Ohio to where the rest of my family is, mom, dad, my brother, and my grandfather. ashes saved that Hope can put somewhere close by that she can go visit me without the hassle. But I don't think location is as critical as intent. I think if you have the intent to communicate with someone and they have the intent that they're going to communicate back to you, I don't think distance or location is the issue. But David, try unplugging your mic and plug it back in, because I got a very bad humming noise in my ears.
Yeah.
Hello?
Better?
Hello?
Yeah.
Much better. Better that noise.
I'll bring pizza and pepper. He's going to bring, so John Stevens will bring the pizza.
No, John says if you bring pizza
Yep.
to the event, he will be there dead or alive.
Yeah.
That's awesome. John, I promise I will have pizza at events from here on out. But, yeah, and, you know, Kimberly says she's going to grow a tree, so I'm assuming she means the pod that you plant the body or ashes, whatever, in. That's how you get haunted for it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just going to get cremated and my ashes will go on my family grave. But yeah, I mean, I want people to try to talk to me. You know, for 40 damn years, I've tried to prove the existence of ability to communicate from one side to the other.
Right.
And I've tried to find out, you know, what is it from that side.
Oh, stomach.
So I've asked 1,000 times, are you able to communicate with family once you've passed on? And I've been given both answers, yes and no. So now I don't know. The first answer I got was yes. And I went, phenomenal. I can talk to you and visit family and loved ones. And then the next time I investigated and I asked that same question, I got told no. Like, fuck, so which is it? I can or I can't? I can or I can't? It felt like I was in the Army all over again. Hurry up, wait. I can. Shit, I don't know anymore. But if I'm on that side, we're going to have answers. Dennis, can you talk to us? Bicycle. I got bicycle. What the fuck does that mean? That means Dennis is being an asshole still on that side.
Yeah. I'm just going to say, hey, asshole, talk to me. I know you're here.
Yeah, I mean, it's all entertainment value. I mean, when all is said and done, no matter what we've done on this side, on this plane of existence, we're going to have to answer to it eventually. I don't care what religion you're in. I don't care what your beliefs are, your political beliefs, your religious beliefs. Everything that you've done on this side, you have to answer to. So when I get to that side, I want to be able to tell my friends back on this side what that side is like, if I'm allowed. Now, I think there is kind of an unknown rule book, so to speak, because if what we understand is true, and that side is so beautiful, we're not supposed to know that on this side, because when this side isn't so beautiful anymore, we're going to look towards that side.
Right.
And we're going to want to be on that side so much easier and so much more readily that I think suicide would spike. And that goes against everything that God said we're allowed to do. So I don't think we're supposed to know everything or much about that side. The side of the dead, Kimberly.
Yeah, that's true.
But, you know, I had the pleasure of listening to, God, I can't remember his name now, but he gave a presentation at Chicago Ghost Conference when I went out to speak to that. And he explained what it was like for him during his near-death experience, Chris Fleming. And he said that what he witnessed and saw during his near-death experience when he was on the table, what he saw was the most beautiful pasture, the most beautiful green grass. The flowers were the most vibrant color. He could feel the what the flower felt as the bee landed on it to gather pollen. And then he felt the most shocking pain he's ever had in his life when they hit the petals on his chest and brought him back. He said, but in that moment, while I was there, it was the most peaceful, beautiful thing I've ever seen. And I think if we all knew that that's what we had to look forward to, then a lot of them that don't have the strong internal fortitude wouldn't stay on this side much anymore.
Mm-hmm.
They would want to be on that side so much more readily.
Yeah.
And I don't think that's what God wants for us. I think God wants us here to learn our lessons and be a good person. Even though your life sucks today, tomorrow you might be at the right place at the right time and save a child's life or something.
Mm-hmm.
There is something good planned for all of us. You just have to be there at that time.
That's true.
And if you take yourself out of the playbook, you can't be there for that moment that God has set up for you to be someone else's hero.
Mm-hmm.
And you might feel like a zero today, but tomorrow you're going to come upon a car crash or a burning building or something, and you get to be the hero, and that's what God has set aside for you. We all have moments that God has set aside for us that we are going to be the hero, and we have made someone else's life that much easier, if even for a moment, or we've saved their life. We're not supposed to come here and at our own free will decide when we go home.
True. That's true.
And,
well said.
I just think that, I've had too many friends that have taken their lives, my brother being one of them.
Yeah.
And I think there was so much in this world meant for him that he was supposed to do and be and see and help with that he missed out on, and others missed out on him being here.
Mm-hmm.
That I think when he chose to take his own life, I think he shorted many people out of what he was supposed to be in their life.
Right.
I don't think we're supposed to know, as Kimberly says, we're not supposed to know everything.
No. And gosh, our time, oh my God, I can't believe it. Yeah, our time is just like, we got less than 50 seconds left on Blog Talk.
I'd say fucking Dennis doesn't shut up.
you're good. I can't believe time flies by so quick when conversations and things are so interesting. It's just like you get in that moment, and then it's like I'm trying to switch over to the switchboard, and I'm like, damn it. I saw David's 3 minutes, and now I got 23 seconds yet, but that's on Blog Talk. I could end the Blog Talk part of it.
I hope you feel better, brother.
Yeah, that's John Savage. We know you'll be on with us next month. I'm gonna get off of the Blog Talk part, but let me keep StreamYard on real quick. Everybody that's on the air with Blog Talk, we appreciate y'all tuning in to the show. And next week we'll have Paul Shields on, but I don't want to cut into Vanessa's time. Hope I'm ending this part. Let's see. I hate when I do stupid stuff. Real stupid stuff. I was about to end the entire episode and Ryan would have killed me. There. Get off of that part and get back on. All right, now you got to walk me through how it works. I got to put a headset on, don't I? No. I unmute y'all. Is that how that works? Unmute your mics. Right?
I would assume.
Y'all got to unmute your own. There you go. David, unmute your mic off of Streamed Hard. And then I'm hanging up on blog. I've already hung up on Blog Talk. Can you hear me?
I hear you.
David does not. I don't hear David at all. I don't know what the fuck.
I see his lips moving.
We go through this every week.
Kimberly, can you hear
Kimberly
me?
says she hears everyone, but I can't hear. I can't hear. Yeah, David, nobody can hear you. Yes, Dennis and Geri, but David, nada. Nada.
Stay tuned, ladies and gentlemen, while we figure out WTF we're doing.
I'm surprised my mic. Huh? I'll hear you. You're fired. Get your shit together.
See, I know he's bullshitting. Yep, David's bullshitting. His lips were moving.
No. Nope.
At least we know he heard me. Look, he's got that deer in the headlights look. That's that look of, the fuck is going on here?
All right, you just muted your mic back. Try again.
Oh wait, I should look over here. No, wait. What's down? No, what's down here?
Nope.
Is that what? Okay, is that where I need to look? Wait, no. What? Wait a minute. Oh.
You just unplug the whole headset. Can you talk through your mic? Nope.
Hey David, show me the other end of the cord. What's at the other end of the cord from your headset?
Unplug it and plug it back in, like life support. John Stevens, you're so cute. Unplug it and plug it back in. That always happens when I'm on life support. No, he doesn't give up. He's just like freaking John Savage. Oh my God. I'll never forget when I met John Savage. It was on an investigation in Gloucester, and this girl's car broke down. And damn, if he didn't stay there for 4.5 fucking hours until he fixed that damn car. He did everything he could, but he made sure she got home.
David, just know we still love you, brother.
He's like, I'm leaving. Fuck y'all.
Yep.
I'm surprised mine didn't mess up, because my computer, you know how it switches back automatically when you pull your headset jack out? Mine doesn't do that. Hello? Nope. He has a tampon, I'm sure.
Fuck. I could read that. He's not bleeding yet, so we don't quite need the
Yeah,
medical supplies. So, ladies and gentlemen, while David tries to figure out what's going on, I want to thank y'all for joining us for the Vive time portion. And if you've
How about
stuck
now?
around here for the StreamYard, hey, there you
I
are.
hear you.
Um,
How much is it?
thank you so far. It's been entertaining.
So far.
We hear
Did you
you.
find the right button?
Yeah, found the right button finally.
Yeah. There we go. Can you hear us now?
Yeah. I can always hear you. I just couldn't talk to you. Which could have been a good thing.
Dennis, you muted? Are you serious? Anytime anything like this happens with Dennis, I don't trust him because I know he's fucking around.
All right. Well, then how do I get rid of the damn echo?
I don't know.
Go.
There shouldn't be an echo anywhere because I'm not even hearing an echo.
But I have two windows open. I have StreamYard open, then I have the Facebook Live open.
Yeah, turn your Facebook speaker off.
Yeah, I did. I had to find where I was at. So I got it. I can go back and view the StreamYard. I can see us live on camera. Audio is good. Kim hears me. There's no echo. But yeah, I muted StreamYard instead of muting the speakers on the Facebook Live.
Gotcha.
Yeah, I'm good at telling other people what to do. I just couldn't figure out what to do myself.
But
well,
yeah, now I don't really know how to answer your question, David, as far as, these people say I do this, I do that. Other than I can tell you I leap tall buildings in a single bound. It doesn't make it right, doesn't make it true.
Right.
But if you look, those are probably the same people that want $60 an hour for a reading, or they want $30 for a card pull or whatever. But you can't sell a product if you don't advertise it. And nobody said the internet is the home of truth in advertising.
Right.
So if I tell you that, I shit rainbows and glitter, you're kind of at the deciding point of, is he full of shit, or does he truly shit rainbows and glitter? And sadly, there are so many people that are so desperate for answers or connection from their loved one that they will believe what they're told.
Yeah.
And it's not so much that they believe it in their heart, but they want to believe that, okay, this person can give me a connection to my loved one, or this person can give me answers from my loved one. So they're going to tell you whatever they think you want or need to hear for them to get into your wallet. Some of they used to call them snake oil salesmen. Then they called them, used car salesmen. Just anything that it takes. So, I've had them reach out to me, and Vanessa posted one about a month ago, I think it was, that she was talking about someone messaged her and said, you have a very negative attachment and I can work with you to get rid of it. And it went on. Ultimately, this woman wanted like $60 to take this supposed negative attachment from Vanessa. Now, I can assure you, Vanessa is very good in her abilities. If she had a negative attachment, she would know how to get rid of it without somebody else's help. So for this woman to just randomly message Vanessa should tell you that no matter who you are, or what your beliefs and abilities are in this world. There's a snake oil salesman somewhere out there that's going to find you and try to blow smoke up your ass to get you to give them money.
Yeah, I laugh at the ones that'll reach out to me and say, you have a curse. You've been cursed. I can remove that curse if you PayPal me, blah, 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 such a money. And I'm just going, really? Okay. Because they're not knowing, they don't know who I am. They don't know what I do. And it's just like, okay, all righty then.
Yeah. Now, I can honestly say I have been cursed. Tracy Ann, I don't know if she's still in here or not. No, actually, she said she was going to dance class. But yeah, her and I were both cursed. Dude nailed effigies of us to a tree through a cow tongue in St. Tammany Parish, Louisiana. And the sheriff's department down there, one of their deputies called me to ask if I knew anybody and blah, 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 blah. And I had to start laughing. Asshole thought he was going to shut us up. I called him out as being a rapist. Live on my podcast. And my podcast at that time with Matt was one of the leading podcasts. And yeah, it didn't go well for him. He ended up facing criminal charges.
Was
But
that
yeah,
like
I
a
can say
jealousy
I've
thing
been
of your
cursed.
podcast then? I mean, what was
Oh
that?
no.
Was it like,
Oh no. No, I called him out as being a rapist because so I was bringing him on as a guest to talk about remote viewing. And because he was supposedly trained under Colonel Ed Dames, who led Project Stargate for several years for the United States government. And Colonel Ed Dames was one of the foremost remote viewing experts at the time. And Project Stargate was sponsored through black funding by the U.S. Department of Defense to remote view enemy installations and everything else. So I was going to bring him on the show and talk about Project Stargate and remote viewing and Colonel Ed Dames and everything else. And as soon as I put out my first post that this was going to be our guest on the next Full Spectrum Radio, Tracy Ann messaged me and she goes, is he from Covington, Louisiana? You know, I don't know. So I jump on Facebook, I stalk him, and I went, yeah, he's from right outside Covington, but it's listed as Covington. Yeah, he raped me in high school. That what? So she told me the whole story. Well, I had already interacted with this man a few times. So he knew that I had the ability to remote view and could do mediumship. So I messaged him and I said, hey, I've got a couple of questions for you. And he goes, sure, what do you got? And I said, well, I'm curious about, I'm seeing an image of like this industrial park and a young lady in a beautiful blue dress. And there's a confrontation. And right off the bat, he messaged back with, I didn't fucking rape that bitch. It was all consensual. And I went, you just told me everything I need to know, you piece of shit. By the way, that was my sister that you raped. And you don't need to worry about coming on our show. What you do need to worry about now is the fact that this just became a totally different topic for the show. We're going to do a show on Rape Survivor. And you're going to get called out. And then I proceeded to block him. And we did it. And Tracy came on the show. She called him out. I called him out. And 6 weeks later is when the sheriff department called me and asked if I knew anybody that would do such a thing. Yes, I do. But he wanted to shut us up for calling him out.
right?
So I love the smell of this shit. Tiger balm.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Remote viewing is an interesting topic and an interesting show to do because a lot of people don't know and understand what that is. We'll have to discuss when you can come on and maybe talk about that in the like the astral realm of things because that's people have questions about stuff like that.
Yeah, I'd be happy to.
Yeah.
I've done several remote views for other teams. Matter of fact, I think it's the reason that I'm part of the Twisted Realm and Hometown Haunts series because of what I can do,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm good with the technical side of things. But it's interesting when you can sit back in your living room and see a location that you've never been to and describe, literally do a guided tour walkthrough.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But there's a couple of different ways to do it, and I think it depends on who you're talking to and who has the ability and what way their ability works. So
Right.
mine, I think mine works more through the mediumship side of me,
Right.
because most of the time I get like a spirit steps forward and kind of guides me through the location, and other times, less frequently, it's like I'm just there and I'm on my own, just walking
Mm-hmm.
through this location, but I still interact and can see and talk to the spirits that are there. But sometimes it's freaky as hell because
Mm-hmm.
I'll see things. I don't always see things as they are modern day. Sometimes I'll see them as they were when that spirit was living and in that location. Um, and sometimes I will see activities that are taking place from that location era when that spirit that I'm interacting with was there. So it's really cool and it's fascinating, but it depends on how I make connection to the location. If I make it through spirit, then I get to see it as it was when spirit was there as a living. If I make connection to that location through that location's energy itself, then more often than not, then I see it as it is modern time.
Mm-hmm.
How
Uh,
how how is that different than astral projection?
well, I honestly I can't answer that because I don't know. I don't truly know what the definition or the physical aspects of astral projection are versus what I do. I
Mm-hmm.
think basically they're the same word interacting for the same scenario. Because when I do a remote view and I place myself there and I connect to the energy there, a lot of times I can smell the surroundings, I can feel the texture of the walls. Um, if the floor is spongy, I can feel that. And those are all characteristics that are granted or believed to be part of astral projection as well. So I think it's the same word, astral projection and remote viewing, being used for the same thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess if you want to say it that way, I astral project and remote view. What's the difference between the two? Um, dip me in sugar and call me sweet, but I have no damn clue.
I don't know if we'll call you sweet. That's
Asshole.
too nice. Asshole's a
Do
lot
we,
better.
do we still have any viewers, listeners?
We do. We have 16.
Oh my God,
No.
what the hell is wrong with y'all? Why
We've
are
got
you
well,
here
we've got
just to listen
7.
to
Wait a minute.
me?
I'm sorry. We got
Yeah,
7. We have 7 viewers left on here. We've got. It's hard for me to see. I'm looking now.
Yeah.
No, we've still got some viewers on.
Yeah, you got 6 viewers and 16 likes.
Yeah, that's it. Sorry, mixed them up.
See,
Now we're down to 5.
I, Yeah, that's because they're tired of listening to me drone on. But I'll tell
Well,
you, one of
actually,
the
it was an interesting
funniest.
conversation to me, but I think bringing it on a whole different episode and talking about that would be really cool because, like I said, a lot of people are interested in that and they're trying to understand what that is.
I'd be
And
happy
it's
to.
yeah, it's not
And
the easiest thing to explain to people. For me, it's
and
not.
well, I think it's fairly easy. I close my eyes, I open my mind, I get a handheld guided tour through a location somewhere that I've never been. That's pretty much all there is to it in a basic nutshell.
Yeah.
Um, the funny part is when I can tell them what room they're going to interact with this type of spirit or that type of spirit. Um, and you can meet some wild characters that may or may not show up in an EVP session when you're physically on location.
Right.
One of the coolest ones I ever got, it it was a man that lived in an upstairs room, um, very vile. He was a drunk. I got to meet his third generation descendant and didn't know this is who she was as I'm describing this man. But at the end of the night, we're in that room, and there's like 6 of us in there, I think, and we're doing an EVP session along with Spirit Box. And I finally got to the point. I'm like, all right, well, Doc, why don't you tell those that are here now what you told me 2 weeks ago when I came here by myself? And there's an EVP that plain as day was fuck you. And then Spirit Box chimed in very loudly and very clearly with get fucked. And I just started busting up laughing because the entire group instantly yelled, get fucked. And I went, yeah, that's pretty much what he told me when I was here. But it was cool because I had already told them that this was what I got when I entered his room. So they were able to go, yeah, that's
Right.
what he told us 2 weeks ago about this room and about this person. And we've got EVP evidence to back up everything that he just said. And that was kind of the first that was the first step for Twisted to kind of look at me a little differently and go, this dude's the real deal. He can do this shit. And Spirit remembers him.
Mhm.
But I thought it was funny as hell.
Yeah. We've known that about you. I mean, as long as I've known you, pretty much all along, that those abilities, and I just got to learn to stop getting all excited and then falling back into myself. That's the part where I mess up at. I get to a location and then I get all excited that I'm there, and I end up going right back into myself, and I'm like, damn it. I've done that a couple of times.
Yeah, you did that at the Manor House.
I did. I was so pissed off at myself.
And John Stevens says, I've been learning about remote viewing and reading about it. Watch the YouTube movie Third Eye
It's
Spies.
very
I'll
interesting.
definitely I'll definitely check that one out.
Yeah.
Matter of fact, speaking of movies that are about remote viewing, Men Who Stare at Goats was based on remote viewing. And it's been 20 years or better that I saw the movie, I think. So I don't remember much of it. So
Hmm.
I would have to go back and watch it again to understand exactly what made it based on remote viewing and Project Stargate. Um, but through the heaviest portion of the Cold War, the Department of Defense spent millions every year for remote viewing.
Yeah. Yep.
And
Hmm.
the way that Colonel Ed Dames would do it was he would give you a series of numbers. It was the latitude and longitude for an expected location and to see what you would come back with. Now, I took that same thing, and I've done a couple of different presentations at Paracons. And I remember one being at Ferry Plantation. I had made up a full PowerPoint presentation on remote viewing, and then I just put the numbers up on the screen for latitude and longitude. And I told folks, there's a pen and paper in front of your chair. I want you to just close your eyes, take a nice deep breath, relax, focus on this 2 sets of numbers, and tell me everything that you pick up on them. And then I would give them 5 minutes to do that in just dead silence. And then I'd click to the next screen, and I'd ask them to, join back in with me. And I would ask them, start telling me what you picked up from that location. What did you get in your mind's eye? And one of the locations that I used was Trans-Allegheny Lunatic Asylum, because it's a very well-known location. There's plenty of pictures available of it. And the one boy that was there was telling me, I see like this giant castle type building, and I hear a lot of screaming, and I feel ill. And I mean, he described Trans-Allegheny, and I just smiled and looked at him, and I said, so is this the first time you've ever done this? And he's sitting with his mom. Now, this boy was on the autistic spectrum.
Mm-hmm.
And he looked at his mom, and he got real sheepish, and he kind of held his head down, and he goes, no, but she doesn't believe when I tell her what I see.
Oh.
And I just smiled and looked at Mom, and I said, you might want to start listening to this young man, because he's got a gift.
Mm-hmm.
And at this point, you could see Mom look at her and look back at me, and she reached over and snatched his notebook out of his hand, and she's looking at everything that he's written down, and she's looking at the screen for all the points that I have about Trans-Allegheny. And she looks at him and says, you really saw all of this? And he's like, yeah. Is that okay?
Aw.
I thought that woman was just going to lose it, because she started bawling. Of course, the young man started bawling. But there's so many people out there that don't understand that when you close your eyes and you just focus on nothing, what you could be doing. When you start seeing things, that's what we do when we help law enforcement with missing persons cases. We rely on the universe to give us information back.
Yep, the mind is a very, very powerful thing. And I say that all the time. And once you activate that third eye and you start to really practice things, it becomes very, very powerful. And people they don't know. Very powerful.
Yeah. So John Stevens put in that Project Stargate was actually set up by the military to teach normal people how to remote view so that anyone could learn to do it. And what they did was they would test them. Mm-hmm. To see if they had any abilities at all in that field, and then they would work with them to help progress that. Mm-hmm. But it was a really cool project, and of course, like I said, it was funded all by black money. You don't think they spent $400,000 on a toilet seat, do you? Mm-mm. That money was going somewhere, so they would take what they call black funding, and they would fund unknown projects like this.
Yeah.
But they were trying to find missile bases, is what they were trying to get the remote viewers to focus in on and find the missile bases. And then one of them came back with, I see this giant truck, and I see it in the countryside. And he starts describing this countryside, and he gives a name that he says, I'm not really sure how to say it, but I see this sign over the road, and here's this name. So they, of course, turned satellites to that area And sure enough, they found one of the first known about mobile missile sites. And that was how they realized that the Russians had developed mobile missile sites,
Yeah.
was through Project Stargate.
Yeah.
So it was
I've
really
watched-
cool.
Yeah, it really is. And watching some of that stuff on YouTube too is like, it's really, it is cool. Yeah.
Now,
Third eye spying.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's definitely cool. I've only astral projected by accident and haven't learned how to actually do it myself. And it's kind of scary as hell, isn't it, Michaela? All of a sudden you're looking at some place that you've never been, going, holy shit, where am I at?
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
I landed myself on a military base in Alaska, I think, one time, and I knew it was Alaska because I was focusing, and what you just said, I was like, holy shit, because it was snow and it was cold, and I know that I was in front of a metal door that said, "Do not enter," and I got again excited and came right back. I was like, damn it, that's where I mess up at. Is I get like overexcited of where I'm at.
yeah, I mean, I think at some point I need to do like, when I get myself calmed down, grounded, and get a nice quiet time, I need to focus in somewhere like Area 51. I want to know, do you have an actual alien in a tank there? Do you have, of course, it won't matter because there's no way I can validate those things. It's not like I'm going to be able to call Area 51 up and go, hey, so I did a remote view on the place. Can you tell me if I'm right in what I think I saw?
You'd have FBI at your door so fast.
Oh, yeah, that black van would slide to a halt out front and look like the damn mystery machine rolling up.
I think that would be validation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But it's a thought. So
it would be
that's
cool,
all I
though.
got to learn how to do is control, not get excited, and I don't even know how to do that. Like control instead of getting overly excited, like I get, and then end up coming back here. Do you know what I'm saying? Have you ever had that happen where you get excited where you're at, and then you mess it all up, and then you're back where you're back in your reality of where you're at? Does that make sense? Have you done
It
that?
makes sense, but I've always been more in wonder of where I'm at than excitement. Um, you know, so I did a remote view on a plantation home one time, and I was in wonder and awe because it was such a beautiful place. But then I was shown the dark reality of what took place.
Mm-hmm.
And there was no excitement because it was very depressing. It was sad. It was demoralizing. And I didn't want to be there anymore. But I had to stay to get the information that I needed. But I was literally held hand in hand with a black gentleman that identified himself as the name Washington. Um, he was the head house servant, and he guided me through this place. And then we got to the bottom of the steps that led to the basement, and there's a long hallway ahead of me. And he looked back at me with just fear and trepidation in his eyes, and he snatched his hand down away from mine, and he bolted down that hallway. Like he wasn't supposed to be with me. He's leading this white man through our area. And then I interacted with half a dozen slaves that were down there. And then I ran into the last room, and I saw 3 black males that were handcuffed to the wall with ankle shackles to the floor. And that was when I had to shake myself out. And I just told them, I'm so sorry. and I shook myself out and I brought myself back to reality. And it turns out that 2 or 3 weeks later, I got to go investigate that location. And the first thing that I did was walk down to that room, and I took both knees as I walked into that doorway, and I just started crying and told him I'm sorry, but you could still see the shackle points in the walls and in the floor.
Yeah. Excuse me. Yep, John Stevens. One guy said he went to Saturn and described the rings in detail and what they were made of, and then people thought he was crazy. 2 years later, what he described was actually very accurate. Yeah. Yes,
Yeah,
Michaela, I know.
it's interesting. And supposedly there is no location that is quote unquote off limits for remote viewing. Once you have a good grip of it and you're well trained in it and you're capable of doing it well,
Yeah.
there is supposedly no location that you can't remote view.
Right.
Now, there's a couple of different theories of why it works. One of the theories is that what you're actually doing is tapping into the Akashic records.
Yeah.
And, for those that don't know, the Akashic records are the records of information of all places, all times, all beings, all things. And some of the theories are that you're just tapping into that, and that's why you can see in everything else for that place. But the way that it typically happens for me, I don't have to look at the latitude and longitude. I have done that and was able to pick a good image and get a good zero in on it. But usually if you tell me something, well, like with Twisted, the first time that I did it for them, they said, well, we've got an investigation coming up in a couple of weeks. And instantly I tuned into that location and I started telling them all about that location. That was all it took, was them saying, well, we've got an investigation coming up in a couple of weeks. And automatically I got slammed by the energy and started seeing that location. And I nailed it so spot on that left both Tana and Lyle standing there with their jaw hanging open going, you've got to come with us.
Right.
And of course, that's where the old man upstairs called me Bucker and told me to get out and then told me to get fucked. Imagine that.
Yeah.
Well, I've enjoyed this. I'd like to stay on here all night long and do this, but I got to go.
Yeah.
All right, brother. Yeah. And Stevens, you and I definitely need to talk about this sometime. I'm going to have to get in and I'm going to have to watch the show that you had mentioned. I'm scrolling back up now, Third-Eyed Spies. But I'll definitely have to go watch that. Stevens, you and I are going to get together and talk about this shit, brother.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm going to watch it too. It sounds very interesting.
And Michaela,
night,
if you do
Shayla.
start doing it, I would be happy to work with you. Just, you mentioned earlier that you ground yourself.
Thanks, John
Please
Stevens.
not only make sure that you ground yourself, make sure you shield yourself too, honey. John Stevens, thank you so much, brother. You have a blessed night. Shayla, I'll see you this weekend, beautiful.
Yeah. If I could learn not to get so excited.
Well, and that's part of where the grounding comes in. You ground your energy so you can control because it takes a lot of thought and control to keep yourself in check while you do this, because keep in mind, it's not only you that's there, it's them that see you too. So now you just showed up and you look like this, spastic little shitbag, and they're like, I'm not interacting with that one. That one's batshit crazy.
Yeah. Yeah. That's where you're right. That's where I have to. I think it's because I can't believe I'm there. I don't know if that makes sense.
That makes sense.
When I'm in my mom's house and I am in my room and I'm looking out my window, my bedroom window, I get shocked that I'm actually there. And then that excitement kicks in that I'm there. And then I end up coming back, pulling myself back. And then I know one time, I know I told you I showed up at the cabin on 360, but something pulled me back and was like, nope. And it's like they pulled me and threw me into my body. Like, what do you think you're doing here alone? Are you nuts? But I didn't mean to do that. I think something from there pulled me there. I don't know. It was cool. It was really cool.
Yeah, I mean, I think I like perfect example. If you go back and look at the Twisted Realm, um, look at their early seasons, you'll see Mount Eagle Farms, and that's the one that I did a remote view on. But I think what happened was when they mentioned it, they didn't give me a name of it or anything, just that we have an investigation coming in a couple of weeks. I think them mentally thinking of that place and what they had already encountered months earlier made Spirit there aware. And then Spirit realized I could do what I do. And then Spirit reached out to me and said, come with us, let me give you a tour. But that one was weird because I didn't get, quote unquote, the tour. I could just mentally see it, and I walked it all by myself. And I even showed them an area that, so this is fourth generation owner, and I showed them a 2-foot gap between walls in the basement that she never knew existed. It was part of the Underground Railroad, and they would hide slaves in that gap.
Oh, wow.
But I told Lyle and Tana that there's a hidden space here, and I feel that it's between the walls.
Mm-hmm.
And it was because Spirit was showing me that.
Mm-hmm.
And we were able to, I went out to the truck while I was actually there, and I got a ladder, and I got up on top of the ladder, and I'm shoving my head up into the cobwebs between the joists and above this wall in the basement. And sure enough, there's a 2-foot space between the walls that separated these two rooms. But I think Spirit wanted me to know it was there because it was important to them.
Right.
So, and like you said, I think Spirit kind of pulled me there. They
Mm-hmm.
wanted their secrets and their story known. Well, okay, not all of them, because Doc, the drunk old man upstairs, didn't want his story known. That's why he went off on me.
True. Well, I
But
think something pulled me back.
yeah, I think it's fascinating as hell. I've enjoyed being able to do it.
Mm-hmm.
I've enjoyed being able to have the mediumship abilities that I've had. I've given a lot of peace and comfort to people that
Yeah.
have lost loved ones.
Yeah.
And I think that aspect right there is why they call it a gift. Because
Right.
when you actually have this quote unquote gift, it's not always from yours, from my side having that gift, it's not always gift like. Sometimes it hurts.
Yeah. I
I
agree.
have to take the dead's energy and the living's energy, and I have to take them both on upon myself, and I have to stay somewhat focused and centered so the living get the message they're supposed to get without getting the energy and the emotion that the dead are trying to pass on.
Mm-hmm.
Um, one of the ones that stands out to me most was a young lady reached out to me from Canada, Facebook Messenger. I still have all of them kept. Um, but she asked me if I could reach out to a loved one, and almost instantly this young man presented himself to me in his death state. He died in a house fire, and I saw him as he was in that house fire. And I had to prevent myself from telling her that, well, I see this charred, burned man.
Right.
Instead, I told her what I felt. And I said, well, I'm not exactly certain who this young man is, but right now my whole body feels like it's on fire.
Mhm.
I'd never told her that he presented himself to me in his death state, but he did that to prove to me who he was.
Right.
And then once she was fully believed that I had made contact to who she wanted to hear from, then he presented himself to me before that.
Right.
But the most touching, I mean, I sat and wept like a little bitch at one point during this because she asked me, what did he think of the gift the kids gave him? And I started to laugh because I can see him dancing and he's saying, there's so much candy, there's so much candy. And he's laughing his ass off. Well, his favorite candy was Werther's Originals, and each of the three kids put a bag of Werther's Originals in his casket. So, and then she asked me, did he like the gift I gave him? And this is where I started losing it, because I now have the energy from him, the energy from her, the loss that they've both encountered, bombarding me from both sides. And I have to explain to her what he's giving me to pass to her. And it made no sense to me. But I had to remind myself it's not my message. It's not supposed to make sense to me. It's for her to understand. So I said, well, I don't know if this will make sense, but he's showing me his left hand and he's dancing and singing. If you liked it, you would have put a ring on it. And he's showing me a shiny black ring on his ring finger left hand. And her 2-word response was, I did. They had picked their rings. They hadn't gotten married, but they had picked gloss black tungsten rings, and she put his on his finger in his casket. So I had to take the energy from both sides. I had to internalize that and keep my shit together while I give her peace and comfort that he has now acknowledged that he absolutely loved the ring that she gave him. He loved the gift that he gave her, or she gave him, that he acknowledged that gift. And I have to be able to keep my shit together to do this. So it's not always a quote unquote gift to those that have it. But it is, and I've told this 100 times to people, she insisted she pays me something. And I went, no, this was my gift. This was the gift that I've been selected to have. And it was a gift to me, and it will be my gift to you. Take these answers. Know that the love and the affection and that connection is there, and enjoy that. This is my gift to you.
Yeah.
And I understand, I'm not knocking anybody that charges for their mediumship. I'm not knocking anybody that charges because it's a lot of energy. It's a lot of time. It's very demanding. And for a lot of them, it's their living. And I'm not going to knock them for it. But I don't have to rely on it for my living. I can do it when and if I choose. And I have others that I can recommend. Hey, go talk to so-and-so.
Right.
But when spirit, when Jane Doe reaches out to me or John Doe reaches out to me and goes, hey, can you talk to a loved one? When spirit jumps at me and goes, I got you, brother. We're going to talk to her. Or I'm right here. I need to tell him or her this. Those are the ones that I'll do without question because I know spirit is jumping to tell me.
Yeah.
A lot of them will ask, okay, well, who are you wanting to connect with? No, I'm not playing that game. I don't want you to tell me jack shit. You reach out and you go, hey, can you talk to somebody for me? All right, well, if someone steps forward, because spirit knows who you want to talk to. I don't have to.
Right, that's right.
Spirit knows to come forth because
Right.
you have already asked them, John, Jane, whatever, please tell me you're here. Please tell me you're okay. Whatever it is that you want to know from them, Spirit already knows. When you want to talk to them and you reach out to me or anyone like me, then Spirit is going to go, that's my conduit.
Yeah.
That's who I need to talk to. That's Whoopi Goldberg in the movie Ghost that can
Yeah.
make connection from me to them. And that's the
Hmm.
ones that I get without question. I'll take those almost every time.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, with Michaela, you can't force things either. Um,
No.
you really can't. I mean, I don't try to force anything. It just comes, and sometimes people are so overwhelmed and so stressed too that you block certain things out. Not really intentionally. You're just under some people are just under so much stress, and you're not relaxed enough either to get that vibration. That's what I tell people. And, just don't try to force something. And
No, I,
I just let
yeah,
spirit come to me. I'm with you on the who do you want to make a connection with? I just, whoever, if I'm doing Reiki and spirit steps out at that time, then I give the people their message. If I'm out in public and I got a spirit that that is attached to somebody or walking with somebody like I see so often, I'll give them a message because they're looking to get that message. And that's it. I mean, give them their message. If they don't believe it,
I move
I
on.
keep it moving.
Well, I think one of the funniest damn ones I ever did, I was coming back from New York, going up and seeing my daughter and son-in-law and the grandbabies. And it's like 1:30 in the morning. I'm coming into Charlottesville. My fuel light's on, my coffee cup's empty, and I'm almost out of cigarettes. And I'm like, that's it. I gotta pee. My tank is full, my truck tank is empty, and my coffee cup is empty. We have an issue. The first damn gas station I pull into, I'm going in and either top off or empty one tank or another, whatever it takes. And I walk into the door to this gas station and I look off to my left and I see the cashier over there, probably a 22, 24-year-old male. And right over his left shoulder behind him, I see this older black woman that I know is not living. I'm like, oh shit, please don't let her see me. Please don't let her see me. And I see her perk up and look straight at me. And I'm like, ah, shit. This woman followed me around the store. You have to tell him. And she's rattling off all the shit I have to tell him. And I'm like, please leave me alone. I am so tired. Please leave me alone. I cannot do this right now. And I get up to the cashier station. I'm going to pay for my coffee and my gas and or get my pack of cigarettes. And she's standing there just, you have to tell him. You have to tell him. Like, well, fuck, fine. Listen, Grandma says she's very proud of you for achieving President's List on your last semester at college. She's glad you took a semester off, but you have to take your ass back to school. She didn't pay for it for you not to go. You had the book on the table, and I just rattled off for like 3 minutes straight. And this poor kid is standing there with his jaw hanging open. He goes, this shit's real, isn't it? And I kind of cocked my head and I went, excuse me? And he goes, I've seen this on TV where that woman goes around and she just tells people in the grocery or whatever, but I never thought that shit was real, but oh my God, this shit's real, isn't it? And I went, yeah, it is. So please go back to school. Tell your grandma you will go back to school. He's like, can you tell her something for me? Sure, but you can tell her too. And he goes, okay, tell her I love her and I'm going back to school. And I see her face light up behind him like she just got an Elvis pink Cadillac, her face just lights up. And I went, you just told her. And he goes, she's here? I went, yeah, she's standing behind you on your left shoulder. And he goes, holy shit. Almost every night that I'm in here, I swear to God, somebody's standing right behind me. Oh, yeah, she is. I said, you need to get accustomed to that because she's not going to let this go. Now, she tells me that you put the class schedule on the dining table and you looked at it last week. She says it's time to get your ass back to school. Now, can I have a pack of Pall Mall blue shorts, please? But it was funny as hell. Just, oh my God, this shit's real, isn't it?
Yeah, that is funny.
But I very seldom do that. I did it one night and Hope was with me. And we get about halfway across the parking lot. And she grabs me by the arm and stops me. And she goes, so what the fuck was that about? I don't know. Just all of a sudden, she had asked me 4 or 5 times to read her, or I had to just throw it all out on the table. I mean, I called this chick out. She was my bartender. I said, so you got like 4 babies, 2 of them's with your aunt, one's with your mother, and one you have. The one you have came from baby daddy that you met one night and had a one-night stand at a party, and his name starts with an R. It's either Ronaldo, Rolando, I'm not sure, but blah, 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 blah. And I just start rattling shit off. And she's like, oh my fucking God, I didn't really think you would read me. I just thought it was funny that you, and it all started because I have a hat that says paranormal investigator. She goes, oh, can you read people? No, that's I don't do that. So at the end of the night, every time I had gone to get a beer, she's asked me, so you got anything on me? You got anything on me? And I keep getting little bits and pieces and I just keep blowing it off. And then finally she pissed me off. I'm trying to pay my tab and leave. And she's like, so I guess you can't read people, huh? You just don't do that. Bah. And I fucking vomited all of this information right in her lap. And she's like, I oh my God, I didn't remember. How did you know my baby daddy name? Because I barely remembered it. I went, yeah, well, you know what? Don't get drunk and have one-night stands. And I turned and left. So about halfway across the parking lot, poor Hope was like, what the fuck was all that about? I don't know. She just irritated me and I had to put it out there.
That is so funny.
I couldn't do anything. I dumped it all right in her lap. Everything that you wanted to know, you just found out, sweetheart. Don't like the answers, don't ask the question.
Yeah. Said she's dying over there. That would be annoying. Yeah, it gets annoying when people do that sometimes. Do you feel anything? Read this. It's like, doesn't work like that for me.
Yeah. What do you get from this picture? I don't know. Boredom. I mean, it's not always there. It's not like I can reach up, flip a switch, and turn on a light, and poof, I'm automatically connected. It just doesn't happen that way. I don't think people understand that it doesn't. And a lot of times when we do make connection, it's because, excuse me, it's because spirit is being obnoxious.
Yeah.
Now, there are times that there is a message that absolutely has to get across, and I'm good with that. I was talking with Lori Myers, who's up in Northern Virginia, Nova SPIs, and we were talking in Facebook Messenger, and all of a sudden I start getting images, and I said, out your back door, there's a big bright light up to your left at like the 11 o'clock position. There's a big tree, and you have to be careful. There's somebody in a red shirt, and I get danger, and you need to find your fucking firearm now. Mm-hmm. She's like, what? What's going on? I said, I don't know, but just find your firearm. I don't know what's going on, but you need to get your firearm and you need to make sure that you and your family are safe. Well, her wife had taken the dog out. The dog was going ape shit towards this one big tree that's in the back left corner. And the bright light that I could see was a damn helicopter. They were
Mhm.
looking for a robbery suspect that was approaching her wife that the dog went apeshit on. And when she went out the door, weapon in hand, dude turned and hauled ass.
Mhm.
But it was
Yeah.
one of those where, you know, this spirit just told me this has to be told right now. I
Mhm.
will always deliver those.
Yeah.
But, you know, she's like, I don't know how the hell you did that, but oh my God, you may have just saved somebody's life. But
Mhm.
I didn't. I didn't do anything other than pass what
No,
spirit wanted me to pass.
to pass the message. That's right. That's right. And I think people mix
But
that up too, with stuff. I'm not the healer. My hands are not the healing hands. It's not me doing it. I'm a conduit for stuff. It's the universe going through me into them. And I have to rectify that a lot because I'm not the healer. You heal yourself. I'm just helping. I'm just that messenger, conduit, whatever you want to call it.
yeah, I'm just moving energy from the universe into you to do with it what you need to do.
Right. Yep. And that's what Reiki's
And
all about too.
and
So
for me, it's about I have all I have to do is
thank you.
take what they say
Yeah.
and pass it to you. It doesn't have to
Yeah.
make sense to you right away. You
Mm-mm.
have to figure out where it makes sense because to me, 9 out of 10, it
Right.
doesn't. I'm not going to, and I had to learn this the hard way. I can't try to decipher the message. If spirit doesn't give it to me in such a way that I can understand it, I'm not going to give it to you.
Right.
If spirit gives me information in a way that makes no logic to me, but this is how they put it, that's exactly how you're going to get it. And
Right.
it's not for me to quote unquote decipher the message.
Mhm.
It's for me to pass the message. So
Yeah.
when I did that one for the girl in Canada, when she asked me, did he like the gift the kids gave me? And all I saw was him dancing, singing, or dancing and laughing, going, there's so much candy, there's so much candy. It didn't make a shit's bit of sense to me, but it wasn't my message.
Oh, yeah. Thanks. That's sweet, Michaela. But anybody
But
can do it, honestly.
you just have to open your mind and open your energy path.
Yeah. Yeah. Her spirit guides are yelling at her for not following her little path, but she'll get there. She'll get there. Time. So
Well, all right.
this
So you mentioned her spirit guide, and out of nowhere, I hear the name George. I want to say that he's 40-ish year old male. Um, I mean, he says, I can't quite hit her in the head with a rock to get my message across, but eventually it'll get through that dense skull of hers.
yeah. Yeah.
So I don't know what he's trying to tell you, but damn, Michaela, you better pay attention because if George ever figures his shit out to hit you in the head with a rock to get it through your thick skull, quote unquote, he's going to let you know.
Yeah. Yeah. She ain't doing what she's supposed to be doing, but it's okay. You'll get there.
All in time, all in time.
Yep.
But figure out who George is.
Yeah. Hard headed. That would be very true. Yeah. We all are.
Yeah. He
And
calls her
stubborn.
thick skulled.
Yeah.
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 He calls her thick skulled. So think about who would have said you had a thick skull. That's who is trying to get word to you.
Yeah.
But I get the name George and I don't know why. But all right, I'm going to jump the hell off of here. It's time for a little Call of Duty Modern Warfare.
That
Uh,
works. Well, I appreciate you
join my
coming on
guys and
and
go shoot
staying
some people.
extra. Yeah, her step granddad. Yeah.
Is that George?
I'm sure she'll type it in there.
I'm waiting.
Oh, we're waiting. Is that George,
Do,
Michaela?
do, 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 do. His step granddad's name George.
I know
Do,
she
do,
wants to
do,
play.
do, do, do.
Appreciate you
Well,
coming.
I'm easy to find. Look me up under Ghostman Dre. Imagine that. Look, so my ride name is Ghostman. My Call of Duty tag is Ghostman Dre. Yeah, I'm pretty easy to find. Yeah, I would definitely be interested. Hey, John, thank you so much for still hanging in, man.
Yeah.
And
Yes, we appreciate it.
belated happy birthday, brother. I look forward to seeing you the next chance we get.
Yeah. All right, Dennis. Well, go play Call of Duty. Have fun. I don't know if my son still plays that or not.
Yeah, I get a kick out of it. I get to play with Gene and Doug, another team member. We just have fun. But
Yeah.
ladies and gentlemen, there's 6 still on here. So y'all have a blessed night. Thanks for hanging out and listening to a goofy old man chat.
It's always nice having you on the show. We appreciate you coming on.
I enjoy it. Jerry, I love you, sweetheart. I will see
Love
you
too.
hopefully the 20th.
Yeah, we will see.
We'll
I'm
see if
missing one
Dave will
day,
give you
the
the night off
13th,
from
so
the
we'll
manor
see.
house.
Yeah. That'll be coming
And
to
I'll
an
keep you posted. Watch my Facebook if I'm able to go live from Ohio State Reformatory this Sunday night. You'll see me live,
Oh yeah,
and
definitely.
hopefully we'll have a good number of asshole or fuckers thrown my way.
All righty.
It'll definitely be entertaining. I've already been called an asshole from there once by spirit that I've never even been there. So it should be interesting. But y'all have a blessed week. Have a great
You too.
weekend. I look forward to talking to y'all again soon. Good night.
All righty. Good night. Night, everybody. Thanks for tuning in. We appreciate it. See you next week with Paul Shields. And he's from Culpeper Paranormal, so that'll be cool.